Welcome to the Small Business Breakthrough, where every week we're interviewing small business owners that are supporting the small business community. And one of the biggest challenges that any small business owner faces is the side of the business, which is prospecting. You've always got to be out trying to get the next lead, the next appointment, and it takes up an immense amount of time. It's probably one of the most misconceived amounts of time that any business owner has when they're starting their business is how long it takes to actually find clients. Well, today we have an amazing special guest who is helping small businesses solve for that problem. John Karsant, the founder and CEO of Level Up Leads, helps small business owners solve just that. They are key into appointment setting, cold calls, and helping you just get onto a sales call, which is what the business owner can truly do best. John, welcome to the podcast.
Jason, quite an intro. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Can you give us that introduction as to what Level Up Leads is and how it is solving problems for its clients?
Yeah, I mean, you did an excellent intro, but essentially what we do is we're a sales development and appointment setting agency. So companies hire us, all sorts, really across all industries, all sizes. We work with small startups all the way up to big enterprise companies. They're hiring us because they don't want to do prospecting themselves. There's a lot of risk that goes involved. It's time consuming. It's expensive. Um, it's a high turnover position. So it's easy to hire an agency like us who has all the systems and tools in place. We go out, we run those outbound campaigns, generate interested leads, set up appointments in our clients' calendar so they have more sales opportunities. So that's a little bit of an overview of what we do.
You've been doing this for a little bit. You started this business in 2021, but you've had a bunch of experience in doing sales and biz dev. What led you to decide to start Level Up Leads?
So I've been working remotely for 10, 11 years, doing various full sales cycles roles. I got a lot of experience in what it takes to go out there and hunt with, not much more than just a simple, maybe even just a company list. Go out there, make phone calls, email connections, text message, uh, anything to do to generate interest. And so I worked various sales roles at different startups. But about 6 to 7 years ago, I started working for a B2B sales development agency. And so that's when I really got into this space and started to understand how it works, why companies have a need for this. And so that's where I got about 2 years of experience there, and then I spun off and started Level Up Leads in 2021.
When you were working on developing yours, so you developed a prospecting business, but that's only part of the equation to the sale. Finding the leads is one, closing the leads is another. What were some of the challenges that you went through as you were able to build prospecting easily, but what were the challenges around closing those deals?
You mean just in some past roles
Yep.
specifically? I think one of the challenges is these were specifically startups, and so when you're a startup, you typically don't have a lot of brand recognition, and you have to really make a case. You really have to paint the pain points or highlight the pain points that your customer may be facing, and really pitch them as to why your product or service is a need. And so you have that you have to get them to agree to have the call, right? In my case, I was also doing the sale, but in a lot of cases, you'll pass that over to someone who's actually doing the sale, and then it's just a matter of working that. It's not always going to close on the first time. A lot of people think that's, oh, you set up the demo and it leads to a close. No, it could take a while, what you call the sales process. And depending on the company and the product, like that could range from a few weeks to a few months to some of our clients currently it could take over a year. Um, but the challenge is yeah, you're working for a no name startup. People don't know who you are. They may already have a solution in place. So why choose you, right? So you have those are some of the obstacles you have to overcome to get them to onboard and become a customer.
As you were building Level Up Leads and you've been continuing to grow it, what have been some of your challenges along the way as to the the growth maybe, or even inside of finding talent that is very good at prospecting?
I faced many challenges, and one is the way I started the company is not how it is today. So it's certainly evolved over time. And so, just to give you a little more insight, I started the company as list building specifically, meaning companies said, look, I have a very unique ideal customer profile. It's very hard to find these companies that fit the criteria that they need. So we would go out and custom build these prospect lists for them so they could take it over and then they could do the outreach themselves. But over time, I realized that's not sustainable. They were one-time sales. They were typically they would come back, but several months after they had worked the list. And so I realized that like this isn't going to work. The business is going to fail. So what I did is I evolved the business over time. And so I started introducing where we started actually generating the leads for the companies. It's more valuable. So we build the list, plus we do the outreach and set up the meetings. And so that's where the company really took off. We started introducing other channels, email, LinkedIn, cold calling. And so that's where the business is today. We're really running a omni-channel outreach campaigns to set up meetings for our clients.
Yeah, so listeners out there, as you're building your business and the way you start isn't always the way that you're going to finish. John makes a very, very critical key point here where he looked at one way and realized it's not sustainable. And so it's a pivot. It's a pivot in trying to make sure that you're building a business that is sustainable and making sure that you check your ego at the door with that, because I'm sure it wasn't hard for, or it wasn't easy in that case where you were looking at this going, wait, I thought my idea was really good, but now we're having to make this change.
100%.
Hey, real quick. Did you know that most small businesses don't actually achieve their breakthrough? And it's not because you don't care. It's all because you're trying to do it alone. That's why I created the Momentum Community, is to help you change that. I want to see you achieve the breakthrough that you've been waiting for. It's where we committed entrepreneurs come and get focused, get accountable, and finally build a business and life that you are meant for. If you want to learn more, click the link in the description below and enjoy the rest of the episode. I've interviewed 45 or so different agency models, whether it's been coaches, consultants, marketing agencies. Over the course of the last 4 or 5 months in building this podcast, I have yet to come across somebody that focuses specifically on prospecting. So what's interesting is what comes to this question is I haven't ran across I'm not sure how much competition is out there, but what differentiates yourself from any of your competitors that are in this space?
So unfortunately, it is a crowded space. There's a lot of companies that lead gen is a huge space, right? But there's lots of different forms of lead gen. But even what we do, with specifically the outbound appointment setting, there's still a lot of competitors. Um, what differentiates us though is, and this is something has evolved over time. We used to hire SDRs in Latin America, but what we realized was over time is we target into the United States mainly, and what gives us better results is having native English speakers. So what we did over time is we started hiring native English speakers, mostly Americans, but not specific. We actually have some people from Ireland and UK that do very well. Americans are very receptive to the accent, but native English speakers. So we started hiring higher quality, more experienced SDRs. Within that, though, we started charging more, right? Because we're delivering a better service, and so that's what really differentiate. I can't speak today. And then also just the processes. Having done this before, myself and other people at my company, we've worked at other agencies. We've done this type of outreach before. So it's about coming up with a strategy based on what our clients are offering. Have they done this type of outreach before, or is this brand new for them? We have a mix of clients in terms of whether or not they've done any outbound, and then we have a custom dashboard too, which is pretty cool. So it sets all the different channels that we're working, gives you a unique reporting dashboard, so you can really have a sense of what's going on with the campaigns.
You talk a little bit about that, the ability to or others and what they've done in the past, right? So they may have tried a different program when they haven't been successful. Have you ran across some people? customers or clients where you've not been successful in creating a good lead gen path for them?
Yeah, yeah, lots. Um, Hate to say it, but there's a lot of times a client may churn and it has nothing to do with us. It could be, well, there's lots of different reasons, but in terms of the most common reason is they're either too early to the market or they don't have product market fit. So they don't quite know who to be targeting. They have a competitor that is eating up the space, and you talk to customers who may already be using the competitor, they're like, it makes no sense to switch. Why would I use you? You're more expensive or you have less features, and so sometimes you're going up against competition that's just simply better. So yeah, there's the tech space, the SaaS space. It's very crowded. There's new products being spun up all the time, and so yeah, you have, and that's why a lot of companies will outsource to us, because we can spin this up quick and they can test the market.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. What's maybe a recent project or initiative that you've been working on in the business that has really helped you keep that energized momentum into making the business bigger and better for its clients?
Yeah, I get highs off of some of the success, right? So just this week we had two clients that had turned off in November, December. I'm a little pessimistic on whether or not they'll come back, and sure enough, they both this week wanted to come back and start again. So like things like that, really energizes me. And then coming up with incentives for the team on, hey, this is what we need to do to keep people on, have them see success, hit KPIs, and so um, that's one of the driving factors for success is the fulfillment team, which is a lot of people that we assign to each client. But in order for them to see success, yeah, you got to motivate the team. But it is mutual, right? You know, we could set the meetings, but if the client's not closing, what's the point, right? So it is a partnership, I should say.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking ahead at what does the future hold for the appointment setting community and that business model that you're working at? You obviously are very well versed in looking at the business and making adjustments as needed, but what's the next 5 years look like for you?
I'm always looking on the lookout to see what that's like. With some of you may heard, there's a lot of AI agents out there, AI SDRs introduced into the market. Fortunately, a lot of them are not very good right now. So it's a lot of massive outreach, burning through your TAM, which is your total addressable market, um, and then from there, it's just get kind of left empty-handed. Um, Also, fortunately, a lot of the the outbound AI SDR calling is illegal in the United States. So we have that going for us, that it's simply against the rules of doing that type of outreach. So still okay to, if you're a human making those calls, we still have that going for us. But it's hard to say. Like AI is getting better and better over time. So in a few years, that may pick up. We are seeing some very good solutions on inbound or like customer support in terms of AI. It's a little bit different than what we do, but that is picking up and becoming more of a need. And that it's quite comprehensive in what some of the solution, like the problem solving that they can do. But in terms of the right now, we're looking good in terms of the outbound SDRs. The AI still has some work to do on that front.
Excellent. Are you ready to jump into our lightning round?
Yeah, let's do it, Jason.
Okay. As we go through here, we've got 4 or 5 questions to jump through. They're meant to be quick hitting questions, and so don't put too much thought into them, and they're not too hard. So, coffee or tea?
Coffee,
How about cats or dogs?
dogs.
If you could grab only one weapon or item during a zombie apocalypse, what would it be?
Oh, I don't know. My computer.
Computer, very good. How about a favorite quote or phrase that you think about often?
um, Become comfortable with being uncomfortable.
I love it. I love that one. That's got to be one of my top favorite ones. Um, One book that has influenced your life the most.
How to win friends and influence people.
Excellent book. And the biggest obstacle you've had to overcome and one lesson you have learned from it.
Um, I'll just highlight one of the points I made earlier. Like, there's just no way you're going to set something up like a company and it's just going to go the way you expect it. As a CEO, you're constantly putting out fires and solving problems, and just be flexible and have an open mind, because things are going to change and you need to kind of see what's on the horizon and be one step ahead.
Excellent, excellent. And for all those listeners out there, if they want to collaborate or they want to learn more about Level Up Leads, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Two best ways are my website, levelupleads.io, or I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. You can find me there. Type my name in, John Karsant. Connect with me, and happy to chat.
Excellent. John, it has been a great conversation. And to learn more about how prospecting and third party prospecting is really beneficial for a small business and how it can save you time, and even in bigger businesses as they work from small to medium sized businesses and beyond. And if you want to learn more about conversations that I've had with other agencies, other coaches, and consultants, you can hit the playlist right here in the screen if you're watching this on YouTube. All of the information to get a hold of John will be located in the show notes, that website, and his LinkedIn profile. And for the listeners out there, until next time.